Whether something is considered murder or not should be decided on medical terms? We are not expected by God to be angels. We are meant to be human, which means fallible, which means that on occasion we're going to misbehave, we're going to fall short of God's perfection, of course. God knew this, God wants it this way, God created it this way. We are human, and nobody appreciates that more than the Creator himself. So if on occasion we fail, that's understandable. Maybe not justified, but certainly reasonable. And there are ways that we can make up for it. There are features, there are values and virtues that we do have that quite balance the picture. So are we more good than bad or more bad than good? Yeah, that's an important question. Because the way the balance goes, that's how the world goes. If there's more good, then the world is in good shape. If there's more bad, then it's not so good. All of this is true, but when we take a position, make it a policy, pass a law that says you're not allowed to believe in God, you're not allowed to worship God, you're not allowed to perform a commandment, a mitzvah, that's a whole different story. So human weakness we know about and we can live with it. But bad policy, ungodly policy, that's going a bit too far. So it was a very, very sad day in America when the government, its law authorities, decided that it is okay to end a life in the womb. That wasn't a panic, a weakness, a human frailty. That was a policy. That's different. There's never really a good excuse for bad policy, other than maybe ignorance. So it was really a bad day when a country took a position against God officially. We hereby declare that killing is not against God's will, or we don't care. The Torah says, God says in the Torah, he who sheds the blood of man in man, his blood shall be shed. In other words, murder is punishable by death. But what is that expression? He who spills or sheds the blood of man within man. When do you spill blood of man within man? That's an abortion. You're spilling the blood of a fetus while it's still within man, within the mother. So one of the 6 commandments that Adam and Eve were given right at the beginning was not to murder. And this is how it was worded. So as far as God is concerned, killing a fetus is ending a life. Now that there's talk about going back and realigning ourselves with God, that's good news. That's very good news. Because whether you're religious or not, if you're a deep believer or not, whether you're a biblical-based person or not, if we want to decide what life is, when does it begin, and what constitutes murder, shouldn't God have an opinion about this? Is it really up to us to decide? Is it even a scientific question? It's a moral question. Moral questions come from a moral commander. Whether something is considered murder or not should be decided on medical terms. Only the giver of life can have an authoritative opinion on when life begins and when life ends and so on. Now, this doesn't mean that a woman whose life is in danger because of a pregnancy should allow herself to die or should be forced to die rather than have an abortion. A life that is established takes precedence over a life that threatens it. So if we consider the fetus as an attacker, an aggressor, threatening the life of the mother, then of course the mother has a right to protect herself, even at the cost of the fetus's life. It also makes sense that establishing a threat, how sure do you have to be? How do you prove that the fetus is threatening the mother's life? How much proof must you have? The laws of self-defense say you don't have to be 100% certain. You don't have to be shot before you protect yourself. So if there is a threat, a possibility of loss of life of the mother must defend herself even against the fetus. So to say no abortion is ever permitted, that's like saying self-defense is not permitted, which again is not God's opinion. So if the Supreme Court, following the guidelines of the Bible, of the Torah, of the Creator, institutes laws that are protective of the mother, but also protective of the fetus, then we will have something to celebrate. And things will start to go better for this country. In a related topic, it has become a fad, literally a fad, a craze, to have the body of a deceased person cremated, incinerated. This is not right. This is not good. This is not a healthy society's values. The body houses the soul. The body is what makes living as we experience life possible. We protect it, we defend it, we cure it, we find ways to keep it healthy, to keep it happy. And then when life is over, it becomes garbage to be incinerated. This is just so callous. It's so jaded. Here we pamper our bodies, we worry about our bodies, we exercise and we use cosmetics and we have surgeries to make the body perfect. And when it can't function anymore, we throw it away like garbage. That's harsh. That's cold. And here again we have a commandment. From earth you are, and to earth you return. That's natural. To earth, not to ashes. So this popularity, almost insanity, where everyone insists they want to be cremated, or every family wants to cremate the body of a parent or a grandparent. We got to think twice about this. This is one of those things that can demoralize a society. Demoralize doesn't mean make you feel bad. It means lose your morals. So God expects us to have a healthy respect for the body even when it's without its soul, because the soul depends on the body. The body serves as a vehicle for the soul, and the soul is a piece of God. How can it turn into garbage when at the end of a life of service, it in fact deserves a reward? So the body housed the soul. It will again house the soul in the resurrection, because it's the bodies that are resurrected. The body deserves more respect. And if you look at all the rules, the laws of how to treat a body, what a funeral is all about, what burial is all about, it is so respectful. It is so in awe of the body. That's a healthy attitude. A healthy attitude towards a body means a healthy attitude towards life. When you start dismissing the significance of the body after it dies, you're in some way taking a bite out of the importance and the greatness of the body even while it is alive. So it's a slippery slope. In some way, I think these two issues are related. Not to have respect for a fetus because it is not yet independently alive, and then to lose all respect for a body that was fully alive but is not anymore. It's too callous. We can't afford to be that insensitive, that jaded. And then we complain that children today are so jaded. They don't care, they're not sensitive. Well, we got to look around and see, are we sending that kind of a signal? Are we setting the tone in some way for this kind of cynical attitude towards life? So, if we really appreciate, recognize the sanctity of life, that sanctity extends to any part of life, to anything that supports life, to potential life, to a life that was. You can't go from being the most precious thing to you, your body, to being garbage. Something to get rid of. Not right. I mean, the horrors of the Holocaust, the inhumanity of it, to incinerate people, even after they die. So first you kill them, which is quite callous, then you incinerate the bodies. This is not good for a society. It's certainly not godly. So for Jews in particular who just suffered this inhumane treatment, we should refuse that possibility and certainly not become part of the fad. Because like with all fads, you get excited about it for a while, and then years later you look back and say, why? How could we have done this? What were we thinking? We're even embarrassed by old-fashioned style of clothing. Bell-bottom pants. This is far more serious, obviously. So let's not go with fads. Let's go with what is correct. So even if a parent or a grandparent asked to be cremated in their will, we're certainly not obligated to do that, because if a person says, I want you to do something forbidden, you certainly are not obligated to do that. Cremation is forbidden. And the soul, once it leaves the body, realizes that mistake. So the parent who asked to be cremated before they died does not have that opinion after they die. Because when the soul leaves the body, everything becomes real. They see the world differently, from a truer perspective. And from that perspective, they don't want to be cremated. So let's be thoughtful about this. Not just follow a fad or follow the cheaper alternative. Every improvement in our morality, in our alignment with God's will, and in our respect and sensitivity of life itself will enhance every part of life, give children a healthier attitude towards life, and then everything goes up a rung. All values are intensified by appreciating the value of life itself. So let's upgrade our entire society, the fabric of life itself, the definition of life itself. Let's upgrade it, and that way lift up the entire universe, everything in it, to a more sensitive, a more respectful, a more noble and godly reality. That's what we're here for. Our whole mission is to bring heaven down to earth and to make earth heavenly. Not to desensitize, but to get more insightful, more sensitive, notice the finer nuances, and get to the real core of what is holy, what is good, and what is true. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic, and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there is a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it. I want to invite you to join us as VIPs, partners in our work, and join us also for a personal chat with other members of the VIP club. We talk about many things. There's an opportunity to ask, to respond, to make a comment, to meet the other supporters. And together we can really make a difference in Jewish life and in life in general. So join us. It's goodtoknow.org. Log in, call, make contact, and join us with the VIPs.